Welcome back guys to another Marvel Champions opening video. I've got the Doctor Strange hero pack. This came a few days ago but I've not had a chance to open it yet. Now unfortunately it did come a little bit pre-damaged. So I've had a quick look already at the side of the cards and it looks pretty interesting. It's pretty cool, so let's have a look inside. Now obviously these come with a 40 card pre-built deck and also some extra cards to add to your general card pool. So as always you have the leaflet inside, which comes with a really cool picture on the back, which I really love. It's really smart, and the instructions and a little intro for you there. Now let's look at the cards and analyse. Now if I get some of any of these spells wrong, I apologise. So let's have a look. So let's look at the Stephen Strange part first. Alter Ego. Here we are. It's got a recovery of 3. Now we see here it says Stephen Strange begins the game with an Invocation deck C insert. Now when I looked at this earlier, this deck comes with a sort of side deck with it as well, of a few cards that you put face down next to your deck, and it acts as like a sort of spell library that you're going to cast from in the game later, which we'll look at when we get to it. And you see here as natural talent skill, discard top card of the Invocation deck, learn once per phase, so you can use that. Because I think you have the top card of that deck played face up. And the Doctor Strange side, which is really cool, love the artwork on this. 4 of 2, attack 1, defense of 2, so not too bad. Attack's pretty weak, but I'm sure he's going to be mostly relying on his spells. So he's Avenger with Mystic keywords. He has a spell mastery action, so you exhaust Strange and pay the cost of the top card of the Invocation deck and resolve a special ability on that card. So I'm pretty sure this deck sits to the side of your deck with the top card revealed at all times. You can use Stephen Strange or other cards to sort of shuffle around a little bit, which one you want, and then you can exhaust him and cast a spell. And spells are really cool. I did look at them earlier. They're all like spells from the comic books with really cool names. Get to that in a second. So that's the first card. Oh, we've got Wong, an ally. So costs 3. That's a 3 health, 1 fort, 2 attack, Mystic, and you can exhaust Wong and either heal 1 damage from your identity card, or discard top card of your Invocation deck, which is pretty cool because anything that heals is great. So you can have him just sitting there as a healer, and then when you need to, you can attack or take some damage. That's a pretty cool card. Okay, we have 2 copies of Astral Projection. It only costs 2. It's a spell fort hero action. So it's an event card, and we're going to choose a scheme and remove 3 threats from that scheme. Look at the top card of the encounter deck, and for each boost icon on that card, move an additional threat from chosen scheme. Wow, that's a good card. For only 2 points, that's amazing. So you remove 3 threats, and then discard top card of the encounter deck, well, look at it, and then remove more threats. That's fantastic. For just a cost of 2, that's going to really help out against stuff like Claw of constantly getting threat on the scheme, or against playing Doomsday Chair modular set. Okay, we have 2 copies of Magic Blast. Looks a little bit like the Repulsor Blast from Iron Man's. Costs 3. It's an attack spell. So, hero action, deal 5 damage to an enemy. So, top card of your deck. If that card's resource has, and then we have a number of symbols, so we're going to have to stun the enemy, deal 2 damage extra, confuse the enemy, or do all of the above. Wow, that's a good card. That is an amazing card. That's really good. So I see that Strange isn't really going to be about him attacking, it's going to be about him sitting back and using these spells to do damage, which is really smart idea. I really like that. 2 copies of Master of Mystic Arts. Such good artwork on these cards, I love the artwork. Okay, it's an event card for 1 cost, and you're going to pay the printed cost for top card of the Invocation deck and resolve a special ability, and then place it back on the Invocation deck face up. So I assume if you see really good cards off the Invocation deck and you want to play it again, you can use this card and then put it back and play it again afterwards. That's really good. Can't wait to see the Invocation cards. Okay, 1 copy of Mystical Studies, which is an event for 1. It's an alter ego action. Search your deck and discard pile. That's a Strange card, add it to your hand. That's really good. For just a cost of 1, you get any card you want pretty much. That's really handy. Well, in his set, that's a really good card. Anything that lets you search or get an exact card is always useful. I really like that. Okay, we've got 2 copies of Protective Ward, which is a event, Hero Interrupt. When a treachery card is revealed in a counter deck, cancel all of its effects and discard it. This is good. This is a bit like Spider-Man's, I forgot what it's called, Spider Sense card. Very similar. And I love that card. It's so handy. You just feel safe. You have a card like this in your hand. You always feel safe against treachery effects. One copy of the Sanctum Centaurium. It's really cool. It's only costs 1 support card. Exhaust it and shuffle a spell card from your discard pile into your deck and draw 1 card. Wow, that's really good. Just 1 cost to get a spell card back into your deck and draw a card. That's an amazing card. These cards are all fantastic so far. Oh, we have the Cloak of Levitation, an upgrade for 2. It's a artifact item. It gives you the aerial trait. And it's just a hero action. You can exhaust it and raid Doctor Strange. So that's pretty cool. It's like a lot of the cards in this deck, like the Arc Reactor and Black Widow's Stealth Suit. That's a cool card. We've got 2 copies of Magical Enhancements. Now these are upgrades. More spells. Play under any player's control. Oh, any players. That's good. Your hero gets +1 fort, attack and defense. When the round ends, discard. Okay. So it's like it lasts for 1 round, give it to any player, and their hero gets extra 1 fort, attack and defense. That's pretty good for just a cost of 1. It's pretty helpful. It can help you in the game. And lastly, we have the Eye of Agamotto. Obviously, what the time stones with. It's an artifact. You can exhaust it, and generate a resource. That's always good. Making resources is always handy. That's a really cool little card. Okay, that's all of his main card. That's a 50. That's strange cards. So we'll put that to the side there. And now are his set protection cards. So we have Brother Voodoo, or Jericho Drum, as an ally. Costs 3, health 3. He has 2 forts, and he actually has 2 damage to himself. When he forts, which is pretty strange, pretty devastating to the card. But after he enters play, so top 5 cards of your deck for any event card, and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck. That's pretty handy. Pretty good for the effect alone is pretty useful. Next we have another ally. We have Clear. Only costs 2, 1 for 1 attack, so it's pretty weak, pretty small. Well, oh, that's pretty good. When she's defeated, shuffle into her owner's deck. So she doesn't go in the discard pile, straight back into your deck. So you might get her again. That's pretty cool. That's pretty handy. Oh, we got Iron Fist. Hey, got all the defenders now, I think, pretty much. I should make a defender deck. That'd be pretty cool. Costs 4. 3 health, 1 fort to attack, is a defender. Enters play with 2 mystic encounters on him. As a response, so when he attacks, remove one of the counters, stun the enemy, and deal 1 damage to him. That's really good. That's going to buy you a lot of time against an enemy such as a Rhino who's constantly attacking you. You can stun him, do more damage. That's really useful. Or against powerful minions. That's cool. Okay, we've got 3 copies of the Desperate Defense card. It's an event. It's a Hero Interrupt card for 1. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +2 defense to that attack. You take no damage from that attack. Ready your hero. Wow, that's really good. That's really good. So you're going to get +2 to your defense anyway, which is pretty handy. But if you take no damage from that attack, you manage to defend it all. You get ready your hero afterwards. That's a really good card. Wow, all these cards so far are fantastic. So good. Can't wait to play this deck. Okay, another event card, Momentum Shift. It's a hero action attack. Heal 2 damage from your hero and 2 damage to your enemy. So this is a straight trade. This is a straight heal 2, deal 2 kind of card, which is pretty cool because Haymaker costs 3. That does just 3 damage, but I'd rather heal 2 and deal 2 than that. That's a really good card. I like that. That's interesting. Power Protection, which is obvious, generates extra resources for your green cards, which you really need in a green deck. Med Team, which is a standard from the core set, has 3 counters, and you get to heal damage from friendly characters, which is just a handy card. We have support. We have the Night Nurse, which is a support card. It uses 3 medical counters. Exhaust Night Nurse, move medical counter from her, heal 1 damage, and discard 1 status card. Well, that's pretty cool. I haven't seen that so far, so get rid of status cards. That's the kind of card you want in your opening hand, definitely. Get rid of status cards when you're getting stunned and confused, get them gone. That's a really good card. We have 3 copies of Unflappable. Is that right? Unflappable. It's 1 upgrade, playing any player's control. Again, any player's control. Max 1 player. After defending against an attack and take no damage, exhaust Unflappable and draw a card. That's pretty good. It's always good to draw cards. and defensive cards. So very defensive deck. So I'm going to be sitting at the Strange, going to be sitting back, casting spells, and going to be protecting as much as you can. So that's the protection cards done. Now we're on to the basic cards. So we have 3 copies of, this is one, Warning. This is event for 0. When a hero would take any damage, reduce that damage by 1. So that's going to go into play of the protection cards, taking no damage and drawing cards. So there's a lot of synergy there. That's pretty cool. Staple of any deck is the resource cards, 2 of each, which is obvious. We also have Avengers Mansion, which is obviously, you know, draw a card, which is a pretty good card anyway. That's the core set though. We have the Sorcerer Supreme upgrade. That's pretty cool. That's nice artwork. Play for the Mystic trait, which obviously he has. You get +1 hand size while in hero form. That's pretty cool. So what's the hand size? 6 and 5. So you can get extra hand size. You can get 6 hand size in your hero form. Very handy. These are some really good cards here. Okay, so these are the obviously the obligation card now. So this is a physical toll. Obviously exhaust Stephen Strange, like they all do. Exhaust your alter ego. Next event you play costs 3 resources extra, and then discard this obligation after you play an event. So you can either exhaust Stephen Strange, move from the game, or you're going to have to pay extra costs for another event card you play. So it's up to you. You want to work that. It's not too devastating. Okay, here we go. Here is Nemesis card. So who are we going to fight? We're going to be fighting Baron Mordo. So he has quite a lot of health. He has 5, 2 scheme, 2 attack. He's an elite mystic. Oh, I see here. So when he attacks you, so you've got a top card of your deck. If the card print resource has certain icons, additional effects ensue. And this is the exact copy of that card I saw earlier, I think. So you can either be stunned, take extra damage, confused, all of the above. This is the exact copy of that card I saw earlier. So this is pretty like a nice flip back at the player. It's just pretty sneaky. It's pretty crafty. Oh, this is a cool scheme. Open a dark dimension. That's really cool. I like that. Sorry, I'm really cool. I just love the artwork on these cards. I have to just marvel at the artwork. So it's a side scheme with 3 salvation token. So when it's revealed, his top card Invocation deck face down under the scheme. When defeated, shuffle it back into the Invocation deck. So that's going to free off a little bit. Okay, we have 2 copies of Counterspell, the Nemesis set. These are attachments attached to your hero. When you play an event, cancel its effects and discard it, and then discard this card. That's pretty annoying. That's going to slow you down a bit. You have to be careful what you play to get rid of this card. And lastly, we have Forecasting, which is a treachery card. Alter Ego version is discard a cost from your hand with the highest cost. Place first in the main scheme equal to the printed cost of that card. Wow, that's pretty nasty. And when your hero form, discard a card from your hand with the highest cost. Take damage equal to the printed cost of that card. That's pretty nasty as well. That's a really nasty treachery card, especially the top one, because schemes go up quite fast. Okay, this is what I've been waiting for. This is the Invocation deck. There's only 5 cards to this, and I think it goes face down next to the player deck, and these are all cool spells that he casts that you see in the comic books and the films. If I get these names wrong, don't get mad at me, because I'm guaranteeing to get some wrong. So first of all, we have Crimson Bands of Cyttorak. Invocation, so stun the enemy and deal 7 damage to it. Wow. So these are some really powerful, really big ultimate kind of spells you can cast with his ability. 7 damage and stun, that's fantastic. For just 2, that's amazing. Images of Icon, that's really cool. Although such a nice artwork. Confuse the villain and remove 4 threat from a scheme. Wow, that's really good. For just a cost of 1. Just a cost of 1, that's amazing. That's such a good card. 7 Rings of Ragador. So, give up to 3 characters each a tough status card. Jesus. That's going to be so good when you're fighting a lot of minions. You can dish out tough status cards. So, wow, that's going to really buy you some time. That's such a good card. Vapors of Valtor. This costs 0. So what's this then? Choose a status card and play. Replace that status card with a different status card. And place this card in Invocation discard pile. Well, that's pretty cool. You know, sometimes I find sometimes being confused isn't as bad as being, I suppose, stunned sometimes. So, you don't really need it as much. Or if the enemy has a tough status card, you can flip it for a confused or a stunned. That's pretty cool. And lastly, we have the Winds of Watum. It's just simple events. 0, draw 3 cards. Wow, that's like 0 drawbacks. That's a perfect card. For just cost of nothing, draw 3 cards. And that's just the end of the Doctor Strange pack with the obviously guideline card. That's pretty cool. So that's all those cards done. And lastly, we have the extra cards that come that you can add to any deck. Don't fit in with any theme, they're just extra cards. 3 copies of Skilled Strike. This is a 0 events, so when your hero makes a basic attack, it gets +2. So that's really handy for 0. It's going to really help out in the aggression sets. We have 3 copies of Foiled, another cost for 0. So when a boost card is turned face up during a skill activation, count as boost icons. That's going to save you when you're trying to scheme. That's a good Justice card. That's going to be a staple in Justice decks. You know, stopping the scheme, which is always handy. And last, which is pretty cool, we got an ally, and it's none other than Iron Man. But what I really like about this card is, not only is he has 3 health and 2 fort to attack, the special ability is amazing. Reduce the cost to play for each upgrade on Iron Man by 1. So at some points of the game, it's just going to cost next to nothing. And you've got your upgrades out, which even just a couple of upgrades, it's going to cost 2 for a really decent ally in your deck. That is a great card. So overall, I'm really excited for this deck. I mean, Black Widow looked pretty interesting, and she played fantastic. But this one, it looks so good. I'm just so excited to see the Invocation deck work and how these spells work. So as before, let me know in the comments what you like about this deck. Any cards you see that look pretty cool, and I will do a play for this deck eventually. Get around to it. Let me know what other things I should play. Any matchups you want to see. Any villains you want to play against. Any modular sets you want to see play against. And that's it for this video. Hopefully I get some more cards soon, and I'll do some more playthrough videos soon. Leave a like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.